Hi everyone, Amy here with Amy's Wares, and I have a fabulous Father's Day card to share with you. Now, this brand spanking new stencil is called Dad, You Rock, and this just came out as a mid-month release at a Colorful Life Designs, and I'm going to finish the card by using a panel that I already have on hand. Now, this chocolate box is stuffed with background panels that have big aspirations to become a card someday. So this is my solution to kind of store a bunch of panels. Maybe I'm in the mood to try a new technique or have some extra panels from a previous video, and I just haven't turned them into a card. So this is a nice solution to kind of store them all in one place, and then I can pull together a card quickly in the event I need to. And it's just nice to have all this on hand. It saves some time with the batching process. So here I'm just kind of flipping through. I honestly have no idea what direction I'm going to go. I'm seeing a lot of them with embossing and texture, and that's not really going to work for what I have in mind. I want it to be a little bit more of a masculine feel because, you know, it is going to be a Father's Day card. So I'm kind of looking at that. There's still some texture. I have lots of stenciled backgrounds. All of these stencils are from a Colorful Life Designs. Some kind of hand-drawn, doodle, die cut, every sort of technique you can imagine here in this box. But I do end up finding the perfect panel, and it is also involving some other stencils from a Colorful Life Designs. It's kind of debating on that ink smush one for a moment there. More embossing, some hand watercolored, hand drawn, some gel plate, and here is the one I decide to go with. I created this panel with some mountain edger and tree line edger stencils, which are some of my absolute favorite from a Colorful Life Designs. So I will link a video on how I made that panel in the video description box below. But here are a couple photos of the finished card to show you the direction that we're headed. These edger stencils came out, I think, 2 years ago now. Maybe a year and a half, I'm not sure, but they are brilliant and some of my absolute favorites. So like I said, I'll link a tutorial on how to use those in the video description box below the video if you want to check that out. But this video is really just to showcase this new Dad You Rock stencil. So this would be great for just an anytime encouragement card for your dad. It could be great for Father's Day, for birthdays, but it's just fun and whimsical, and it's going to pair up perfectly for this card. Now I am going to kind of cover up the little crown just because I don't feel like that really goes with my design, but it would be fun for a different sort of style. So you can see I was easily able to mask it off with some mint tape, and I have this dark blue color of Catherine Pooler ink. I don't think it's the exact same color blue that I used with the original ink blending, but it doesn't matter because I'll show you a way to kind of tie in this new shade of blue as I go on. So I'm going pretty heavy-handed. This ink pad is pretty saturated, so you can see I'm kind of pouncing it off on my glass mat just to make sure it's not too saturated when I bring it down onto the paper. But I do want it to be really rich and saturated in color because I want those words to really pop off the background and show, you know, and not get lost in the design. So I'm making sure I get plenty of ink down and filling this in with my blending brush. And this is a blending brush from the Rabbit Hole Designs. These are in stock if you're interested in this particular type. I will link that as well in the video description box below with all the other products that I used. So here I'm just doing this ink blending, and this panel is actually already cut down. I don't know if you saw that when I pulled it out of the box, but it's cut down slightly smaller than A2 size, and it has a nice stitched edge. So it gives it a nice kind of finished look. Now this is going to create a white border around the edge of my card, and I do kind of want to tie in that blue color a little bit more into the design. So here's my solution. I'm going to sandwich my card base through this little, or I put this little piece of paper inside. This is just copy paper, and I'm doing that to kind of protect the inside of the card if there's a little bit of an, you know, overlap, and also I don't want to get it on the back of the card, so I'm kind of holding it in place so it doesn't scoot in case I got any down on my glass mat. But I'm just basically ink swiping all around the edge to create a perfectly matched border on the card base so that this is what shows instead of a white border in this case. So it brings in the same color that I used to ink blend, so it kind of gives it more continuity in terms of the design, and doesn't leave too much white space in this case. So you can see it's a perfect match. I realized I missed a little tiny little dot on this corner, so I'm being a little fussy here, but I want to come back in and just very gently kind of tap that on there just to kind of fill in that white space. If you have like a little zig blending brush or something like that, that would be another use where you could just kind of pounce that into your ink pad and kind of fill in that little white spot. Now I have a simple strip from Tailored Expressions that says Happy Father's Day, and another one, To an Amazing Guy, which I will put on the inside of the card. But I'm just going to pop up this one on the front with these little foam strips. I get these from Amazon. They're the perfect size to go behind any little thin strips that you have for your sentiments. So I'm just going to pull one off and cut it down to size, and that will give it a little bit of dimension on the front of the card, but not too much. Overall, it's pretty flat and not bulky. So I'm just going to remove that backer and then sandwich that in between this sentiment stencil on the front of the card. So it's a really simple design, but I love how monochromatic it is. I love the theme. I think it's really good for a nice masculine sort of theme on your card. Just going to make sure it's nice and straight, because with a simple design like this, you want to make sure everything is straight and lined up. Otherwise, it will kind of, not look great, and nobody wants that. So just going to use some liquid glue, and I'll attach this sentiment on the inside of the card. But that's pretty much going to finish the design. There's not much to it. So saved a lot of time by having this panel ready to go. If you don't have a panel box and you kind of like to batch cards, then I recommend doing that. Otherwise, definitely look into the edger stencils. Like I said, there's some of my absolute favorite. There's like canyon sort of themes, tree themes, underwater, all sorts of edgers in the shop, and they are absolutely brilliant, and they create some of the most gorgeous cards in my opinion. So I love having them in my crafty stash, and having one of these panels ready to go is just icing on the cake, because I was able to just save some time. Now here I have some card bling, which you'll also get if you place an order with a Colorful Life Design. She started kind of adding these extra little thank you bling itch packs into orders, but these are like white, and then some are almost holographic. So I feel like it's kind of a nice mix to go with this sort of clean and simple monochromatic design. So I have 3 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and that's going to finish my card. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. Like I said, if you check out the shop, use my coupon AmyFan10 and you'll save 10% on your complete order. So I appreciate you spending time with me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.